Good evening, folks. Thank you for tuning in to our Aspirant Hearthstone series, season 5, week 7 broadcast. I'm Energy MPG, and I'm here with Dragon Rider.
Hello.
How are you
How's it
doing
going?
tonight?
Good. I'm excited. We only have one match tonight instead of the two that we
hmm
usually kind of do, but I'm pretty excited for this.
Yeah, it's got two of our like longtime players, Chronic and Fanboy, are facing off against each other. We have Chronic at 1-5, so kind of out of playoff hopes here, but definitely, still trying to get like a decent seating for the little consolation tournament we have coming up. And we have Fanboy at 3-3, still alive to secure one of those playoff spots. So definitely an important match for Fanboy for sure. Um, yeah, so like what do we have like the new set and the new thing coming up this week. So like what are you expecting, or what do you want out of that before we start?
Oh, out of the new reveal stuff.
Mhm.
Somebody on Twitter pointed out to me that the little image behind where they have the new mode looks like kind of the deathmatch arena thing from the Dark Moon Fair. So I'm kind of hyped
Ooh.
for like some sort of death match thing where like you get 20 people or 30 people or something and fight to the death. I don't know
So you
what,
kind of
but that would
like
be fun.
going in on the whole like battle royale, like
hmm
Fortnite and
But like
like
Hearthstone.
Tetris 99 or whatever
Yes.
kind of thing. Okay, that I think that's a really cool idea. I'm excited to see if it's something like that. But as far as our matches go here, I think we're ready to look at the deck lists.
Right.
All
And
right. So we have Chronic here. Chronic has decided to bring Secret Rogue, Temple Mage, Controlled Priest, and Guardian Druid. And Fanboy looks like he's banned Druid, doesn't want to see that. Um, so looking at these lists here, is there anything that sticks out to you or about
um
the lineup in general?
yeah, these are just all pretty standard looking lists, I'd say. Um Nothing really kind of different or off the wall. They're all, like I said, pretty standard. And some of the classes that are kind of common. I mean, mage, especially right now, there is some nerfs
hmm
coming next week. And then rogue and priest have kind of become pretty popular as well. Yeah, that druid though is the most interesting because it kind of has gotten some nerfs lately, and a lot of people have stopped playing it. It's just not quite as strong as it was before. So a little bit interesting that it actually did end up pulling the ban, but there's still a
hmm
lot of things in the deck that can cause a problem for some of the decks that Fanboy brought.
Yeah, I mean, just to touch briefly on Druid, it's like it playing one Forest Ward and Omu, which is something I really haven't seen much of. Um, But, I mean, we're not gonna see that tonight because of the ban, but definitely something that stuck out to me. All the other lists look pretty standard.
Yeah.
I would agree. Like the rogue list has one preparation, everything else is either 2 ofs or like legendaries. Um, for the secrets, there's 2 dirty tricks, 2 plagiarize. Looks pretty standard, yeah.
So we can
Yeah,
switch over and look at Fanboy's lists and see because also kind of some fairly common decks.
right.
And it looks like Fanboy bringing so also Control Priest brought a rogue, but a different version. This one's Weapon Rogue instead of Secret Rogue, bringing kind of this Enrage Warrior, and then bringing Soul Demon Hunter, which did get the ban from
Mhm.
Chronic. Kind of not surprised there with that ban. Demon Hunter is kind of one of the big bad guys in the meta right now. Kind of highly regarded as one of the best decks. So not really surprised to see that get banned out.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, and it's something that I feel like has been, pretty, like pretty well, like, established and pretty well, like, kinda perfected of what, like, the deck list looks like, and, Chronic didn't bring Demon Hunter, so I guess, you gotta find something else to ban, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is your, it looks like these, decks are, like I said, pretty standard. The Control Priest is pretty similar to Chronics. There are a couple differences. The first thing I notice is no Holy Smite here.
There's a Cobalt Sticky Finger in the list for
Right.
Fanboy.
I think that's probably the only difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that there's not there's only like the weapon or the rogue, but it's not like weapon rogue or anything. So that sticky finger really isn't gonna, it might steal a dagger. That's it.
Yeah, it's not going to be very helpful in this lineup.
hmm
And, again, a little bit interesting, even though we do see some fairly common decks from both of these players, Chronic not playing Warrior nor Demon Hunter, like two of
hmm
the most kind of common classes, but did not bring those at all. And so, yeah, that tech might not really come in handy, but I think that the kind of decks or the style of play that I'm going to be the most interested to see how it plays out over this series is with this Warrior and Rogue from Fanboy, because these are pretty aggressive kind of lists.
hmm
I mean, Weapon Rogue, a lot of damage, a lot of burst potential with drawing extra damage off of Secret Passage. I'm playing a lot of kind of cheaper damage things in one turn. And the Warrior can also build up and do big burst turns. So I'm really interested to see how these kind of more aggressive versions of these classes do in the lineup. But I don't know. Maybe they can do pretty well into the Rogue and Mage.
hmm
And I don't know. I think
The
these decks
priest
into
is.
Mage. Yeah. Let's just
You
oh
might just
please.
end up with a control priest mirror later. So if that happens,
Yes.
get get ready for a long game. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, I think our players are chomping at the bit here to get started. So I think we're ready to give them the go
Yeah.
and head over to the match. Who do you think is favored?
I mean, just looking at the statistics and the records and kind of just the previous experience, I do feel like Fanboy is a little bit more favored, not only lineup wise, but also just tournament experience wise as well.
hmm
Um, and and again, I think bringing these kind of aggressive decks as well might actually pan out in his favor.
Okay, yeah.
For it. Once
I was thinking that
and
too, but looks like we'll
back.
see. We have Fanboy starting with Weapon Rogue against Chronic's Tempo Mage. And I mean,
And
Chronic's hand looks pretty great.
yeah, and the fact that Chronic is also starting with the coin, which is
hmm
very helpful for giving Mage another spell, another cheap spell to use.
Right.
But also that's a little bit uh kind of detrimental for Fanboy as well. And looking at this hand seems a little bit
Job's
clunky here
done.
as well. So not the
Mm,
best.
right.
And we will get the screen switched over in just 1 second here. There it goes.
Okay,
Uh,
I thought I was doing something wrong here for a minute. All
all right.
right. So Fanboy with the Sinky to Liquid on turn two should be able to clean up that lab partner.
Does have the weapon for turn 3, which is really
hmm
nice too. Definitely going to be able to give him the opportunity to start building that weapon up pretty quickly. And the fact that we kind of talked about weapon removal a little bit. Chronic, I don't believe I saw any weapon removal in any of the lists from him. So that weapon is going to be able to stick around for quite a while for
Oh,
Fanboy.
yeah. Especially with that Krasinov. I mean that's
Yeah.
a beautiful curve. Being able to play Steel Dance run four as well, and you have the Dread Corsair to just come down for free.
Ooh, and the deadly
Ooh,
poison pickup for next turn potentially.
yeah,
Hmm.
that's really nice. So we'll see what Fanboy decides to do here. Chronic just taking the tempo play of
Hmm.
Solarian on turn 2.
Wonder if do you think Fanboy wants to trade into the Solarian? I think personally I like getting rid of that thing, but it's always scary
Mhm.
because then you give them the prime.
Right. But it's not like we have a way to,
But
like, silence it, so
yeah,
you kinda have to give it to him anyway, right?
yeah, pretty much. You really don't want to be leaving spell damage on the board for
Mhm.
mage. So and this cram session coming into hand immediately afterwards too. So that would have been additional draw for Chronic if Fanboy had not cleared off one of those spell
Hmm.
damage minions.
We
Mhm.
hunger for vengeance.
So we're gonna see a Thanos, and then the coin, and then Cram Session. So we're gonna see that extra draw anyway, but at the expense of
Ooh.
the coin and the full turn.
That second Sorcerer's Apprentice, though,
Mhm.
for Chronic looks really good. But at the same time, what's also really good? A lot of
Another
weapon
deadly
damage.
poison.
Blood and
All
plunder.
right, that was a pretty good
Oh,
draw for sure.
so much weapon damage.
And we get that free Corsair,
Yeah.
the 3/1 stealth off the Delinquent coming down also. It's Chronic draws a Wand Maker. Playing 2 Wand Thieves here, like, you've
You
gotta
don't pick the
gotta wonder,
ones.
like, what a lot of this is gonna depend on what we find on of those Wand Thieves, right?
Yeah, that definitely could be something that can change the game.
Mhm.
Uh,
Well, it's
hmm.
not that Pyroblast.
Yeah, probably a little too slow.
Yeah.
The counter spell is a little bit interesting, though.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if it's the best choice though against Rogue that's also playing a decent amount of minions, especially after seeing a couple of those impactful cheap spells already come into play with the double deadly poison.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Conjurer's Calling, it's a card you wanna see, like, once, so
Yeah.
you still need to find the giant to go along with it.
Consider this
Yep.
a house call.
And Fanboy going to go for the Krasnov on curve. That is such a big weapon. Oh my
Jesus,
gosh.
7 to the face. Oh my god. Now it's an 8/3. Great. There's the giant.
There is. It is not quite cheap enough. Look at there's just not enough spells. Not
Right.
enough spells for Chronic here.
Like, Raz comes down, does 3 to everything, but
Sure.
not able to kill
Hmm.
Krasinov on this board.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you could
Unless
trade
Chronic
everything into it, right?
yeah, exactly.
Then you
Which
lose your
that
you lose
doesn't feel good anyways.
right.
Ah,
Like, you have to lose
yeah.
some of your spell damage for that too.
Yep. Which then just kind of defeats the purpose there.
Hmm.
I
Maybe we
wonder
wanna freeze the Krasinov?
that's what I was thinking too. Maybe even at least one apprentice. You
Mhm.
probably don't want to play both,
Right, you're not
but
getting any benefit off the second one.
right.
Time runs out on me.
There's a
Okay.
tome,
There, yep. Going for some cheap spells to start discounting that mana giant.
and we're gonna take out the taunt and attack Fanboy down to 25. Oof.
I mean, freezing the minions is pretty good, but it's not doing much about this weapon that's
Yeah,
free to hit face still.
can we have one? Can we have a frostbolt, please?
Yeah.
All
Chronic
right, what do
definitely
you get? A
looking for
random
okay.
9
Oh,
drop. It's a
rattle
freaking.
core.
Oh, that's
Okay.
awful.
Well,
Oh my lord.
I don't feel like it's that often. Even playing against or playing as Weapon Rogue, it feels like you
So
don't see a
many
9 attack
options.
weapon very often.
Right. And we're gonna
Wow.
bounce that apprentice just for that extra tempo in case there's anything
Yeah.
Chronic can do to get out of here.
Okay.
This is Cyclone. I mean,
Cyclone. Is this too late though?
we're asking for a lot.
Yeah, this is a very big board from Fanboy. And again,
Going
there's
with the
still
draw the
that
card there.
yeah. It's not an evocation. Again, Chronic needs to find an evocation to get something, like you said, like a Frostbolt. Because even if Chronic can manage to deal with all of the minions on board, still
Mhm.
gonna get smacked with a big weapon. More draw.
There's a
Okay.
calling, primordial studies.
That was
Well
insanely
Take a
played.
fast.
break, whatever. Like,
Well
I
played.
don't think I don't think the spell damage
Yeah.
minion matters here. I think.
No.
Yeah.
And
That's
we
rough.
saw Fanboy keep that weapon, which is definitely part of the weapon rogue game plan,
Hmm.
right? Is looking for those weapons, and Fanboy kept it, and it kind of really just snowballed the game.
Yeah, I mean, having those two deadly poisons was really good. Like,
Yeah.
I remember we're talking about like just going like 3, 4, 5. Maybe get like a two drop off your steel dancer, and then your crass enough keeps it going. But then, after those two deadly weapons, it's like or deadly poison, you're just
Yeah.
going 5 damage, 6 damage. Crass enough bumps it up to 7. It's
Yeah. It's a
really
lot of damage.
showcasing, yeah, how powerful weapon rogue can be,
Yep.
especially in the absence of no weapon of no weapon hate from Chronic.
Yeah.
Like
Um,
one little swamp ooze, and that game is completely different.
yeah.
So
But
cool. Congrats to Fanboy for picking up the first win with Weapon Rogue. All right.
so, do you think Fanboy goes with the warrior or the priest next?
I don't know.
I want
I
to see
kind
the
of want to see
warrior.
Priest. um,
Well, one of us has to see what they
one of
want
us is going to be
next.
correct.
That's right.
So
Hmm.
yeah, is Chronic going to stick with the mage? Is the more interesting question.
I feel like maybe. I don't
Okay.
mind if we see that mage again.
Hmm.
I mean, it will have to get a win eventually.
Give me strength.
And, I mean, again, we kind of mentioned it. Yeah, the mage is getting a couple of nerfs next week. So it's
Hmm.
definitely a powerful deck. I just don't think Chronic really got some of that early game stuff that he was looking for last
Right.
turn or last game.
Yeah, and just no interaction for the rogue.
Yeah.
Like was brutal, but we are going to see Chronic bringing Tempo Mage back, this time without the coin.
It says
And
explode.
Fanboy brought Priest. I was right.
You were. Now,
I,
though, if Fanboy wins this, we won't see the priest mirror.
oh no, go Chronic.
Oh, all right.
Uh,
Murazond, interesting. Feels a little slow though. Okay.
yeah,
I like
just going
this.
with that.
Just
I forget the
something
name
to
of that
play
one,
next
but it's
turn.
You don't pick the ones.
a 3/6 thing that gets taunt. One maker for Chronic, getting an evocation. It's one of the pieces we were missing
Winds
last
of
round.
destruction they come.
Cleric of Scales here for Fanboy. Going with Roy's
Okay.
Dead. And then Draconic Studies.
Hmm.
Some more expensive options here.
Yeah. I don't know how useful the Reaver is, but not being able to target a minion is pretty useful against Mage.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I think your only target is the only good target is the giant, but then the giant just turns into like whatever.
Yeah.
So it may or may not even be good. We got an extra Solarion there, which is nice.
And look, that
Especially in a long
evocation
game.
in hand this time.
Alright.
Wow.
So Fanboy, Shelter Shadow Priest.
Got me fired up.
Crimson Hothead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now
She's
we're
gonna
cooking.
coin out a hero power. Trigger that spell burst.
That makes sense. I mean,
I guess with both Ray's dead in hand, it's okay.
yeah, there's not really another good way to like trigger it because we have a
Yeah.
death apotheosis you can't cast, and the raised heads have no value right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're not really looking to coin out your hero power on turn 3, but I mean, given the circumstances here, you basically spent your third turn playing a 4/6 taunt that heals 2. So
Yeah. Yeah, not bad at all.
I will crush your delusions
Right.
of grandeur.
Second Solarian.
Yep. Trading into the hot head and attacking for one to the face. Raised Dead just gonna get the hot head and a Cleric of Scales back. And triggered her again with the other Raised Dead.
Now we're cooking.
So yeah, Fanboy definitely had that kind of planned out last turn.
Yeah.
I forgot about the Cleric
What makes something
being the second minion for Raised Dead spell.
Yeah, both players have
makes sense.
actually had solid turns every turn, it feels like. And
Mhm.
kind of kept that momentum going each side. Oh, rush.
Right.
Able to clear the taunt for Chronic. This seems like a much better position for Chronic this game than that last game for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Then we have the Evocation Mana Giant
on wings of
Mhm.
lined up in
destruction
hand
they
too.
come.
Ooh, interesting. Maybe just the renew for something cheap. Does have a Sethic in hand as well to start going off if he really wants to in a few turns. Master spell?
Interesting. There's only
On wings of
Ripple. I was about to say we
destruction
can't
they come.
Master Spell this turn anyway, but there's only one
Right.
spell damage minion. It's not really worth it because then you're also taking the
Yeah,
debuff off of the 4/5.
that is true.
Taking another Holy Ripple. Just gonna, yeah. Or
Yeah,
take another
definitely.
Renew, yeah.
Yeah, played for the advantage that turn. Going for the Holy Ripple really helped him clear that turn. If he had gone for the Massive Spell, it was kind of building up for something to do over the next turn or two. But
Right.
yeah, really wanted to kind of deal with that board here. From Chronic, though, drawing that Shinvala now. I wonder if Chronic wants to just go for that Shinvala and the Evocation. Does leave just a little bit of mana left to work with, though.
Or is it just me?
Yeah, but, you know, worst comes to worst, you still have the Ray of Frost could get a 5/5.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's only one thing we can play after that. Magic Trick, and then a Mirror Image. So.
I like that mirror image at the end.
A decent board, not really the best evocation for that turn, but it was a free evocation. It's not really the worst.
Start to discount the giant though, which does help
Yeah,
because this hand is
definitely.
looking a little lackluster for Chronic.
Mm-hmm.
And Fanboy picking up the Wild Pyromancer. Is that? I don't even mind. Yeah, I was about to say I don't even mind just stealing the Shinvala.
Right?
Seems pretty good.
That's so good.
Turn
You know,
6,
you
4,
have,
5, and a 2/5.
and you have Renew, Shadow Word Death, and Apotheosis next turn. I mean, it's not going to survive, but
Yeah.
you know. A girl can dream, right?
Right. I mean, it forced Chronic to have to basically kill
Mhm.
off his own Shinvala.
Of course.
Okay.
It's another Sethic.
Yeah.
I mean, the second one kind of makes me just
Just-
want to use one this turn.
Yeah. Is it even needed? What? So, yeah, I was gonna say you have to kind of go for renew on the minion that doesn't even need healing. There's a penance
Mm-hmm.
or the breath. Both interesting here. Does the breath help clear everything? I guess it depends on if Fanboy wants to just go for clearing the board or if Fanboy wants to take penance to go for searching for more spells.
I always choose more spells.
Yeah, right. More value.
I mean,
All
I
the
didn't
spells.
put Sethic in my deck to not play all the spells.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So yeah, we're gonna use Death. We got a Raised Death, which is some great value for Fanboy. Want to make her getting an Inner Fire.
Someday I'll be just like you.
All right. Oh, okay. Here's gonna be the big turn for Chronic, and you see him
Mhm.
playing those things out immediately. Like he knows he's got to get this train going here.
Mhm.
All right.
And with the 0-mana giant.
Yeah.
Love it. All right,
Not
we got
bad.
another Incanter's Flow is a little awkward. Yeah, we had two spells this turn that did nothing.
Yeah. Might even hold back the giant.
Hmm.
I wonder if he's debating about playing the counter
Someone's out
spell.
on me.
I like the counter spell and playing out those taunts, but could also hold that back as well
Hmm.
for another
I,
trigger of something.
my view's a little blurry, so I was thinking that was a mirror image for a minute. I was like tracking it, but
It is a mirror image.
oh no,
No, no, that's the
it's a
secret. I gotcha.
oh no,
No,
mirror
yeah.
entity. That's yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, you're fine. They have so many cards that are named so similarly.
Hmm.
Can go for the big healing here, though. Whew.
Yeah.
This is a very large minion now. And with those Ray of Frost being used earlier, not really a great way for Chronic to deal with this here, but
Hmm.
it's gonna set up the Vaporize and hope that it can get the job done.
Yeah, let's hope so.
All right, Fanboy going to
Fanboy not
test.
holding back, just
Nope.
going for it.
Like, all right, it is what it is. I'll just put
Hmm.
another big thing out on the board.
I've got 4 more cards in my hand than you. It's fine.
Yeah.
You don't pick the wand.
So we have the 7/7, can't be targeted.
Right in time to pick up the Ray of
Ray of
Frost,
Frost.
too.
Hmm.
It would have been a lot more helpful for Chronic about 2 turns ago.
Right. Jeez. Well, the mirror image does give us a couple speed bumps here. Lazul, giving Fanboy perfect information.
Yeah. And
I mean,
can
that
get his
management's
own
gonna be
shape?
like 5 mana or something right now.
I don't know. There's been a lot of spells played. How many spells were picked up and played that didn't start in the deck?
Hmm. Well, there's Penance and
'Cause
Ruin
there were
weren't
a
in the deck.
few. Ooh, opted for the Ray of Frost.
Uh-huh. Well, because they have Sethek.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this Ray of Frost lets you get 2 free triggers off Sethek,
Why not?
right?
More spells over an 8/8?
Of course, always pick more spells.
Yes. That's right. It's all about the value every time.
Mhm.
If you are a priest and you aren't generating like 3 or 4 spells a turn, you might be doing it wrong. Okay. Clearing off all of the minions that actually do something.
Hey, don't count out this little mirror image here.
Ooh, Chronic picked up the other mana giant.
Yeah.
Really needs doesn't find it here, but really needs
Oof.
needs a Conjurer's Calling.
Right.
Yeah, I guess the combustion can kind of do something. At
I mean,
least
if you clear the Sethek.
yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Hmm.
It's smart of Chronic to not play the second mana giant. I hope. I mean, they haven't passed the turn yet, but
I would imagine though that he held that first one for a while. Probably wants to hold back the second one, but
yeah.
Because Fanboy did play that Madame Lazul, and knew about the first giant, then It's totally fine keeping the second one in hand.
Right. And seeing the ruin on this side is like, all right, well, at
Yeah.
least it seems smart for Chronic's
Your mind is
Chronic's
not your
perspective.
Yeah.
All right, so Twilight Twig, Acolyte, Shadow Word Death, gonna steal a random.
dance, puppet. Dance.
We're gonna take that taunt away and go face, bringing Chronic down to 13. That's yeah. Just kind of hope to hit it here.
Well,
It's not a Fray of Frostbite.
Fray of
A little
Frostbite.
time.
yeah, it's something. Don't know if it's enough something, but it's something.
Right.
You don't pick the wands.
That
A
wave
Wand
of apathy.
Maker. Yeah. Inner Fire adds 2 more to this board, but that's not enough.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Let's attack Chronic to 4 and hope they don't draw off the top here. That is. Alright, that's 2
Alright.
more cards.
I have become one with the
That's a prime. Alright. Is this going to do it to help swing the board back for Chronic, though?
Draw 2.
Okay.
Remember, the Conjurer's Calling is going to be 2 mana.
There's a 0-cost evocation.
Wait, not that one. Wait. Oh, right, because that was off of Solarian, yeah. The Conjurer's Calling drawn from the deck is 2 mana because of those 2 encounter flows earlier, so we would be able to get
Someday I'll be just like you.
that. Another Sorcerer's Apprentice, so we're not going to be able to Conjurer's. We draw 2 more with Cram Session.
They're prime. It's not going to be enough this turn, though.
No.
Yeah, not really, I guess. Has to go for the evocation. Needs to find more freeze and some
A Frost
taunts.
Nova. Wait, no, that's not going to do it.
Nope, not enough mana. Wow, so Fanboy taking it up 2-0.
Congrats to Fanboy. Saving us from the control of Priest Mirror.
Yes. So now he'll just have to get a win with that Enraged Warrior, though. And I don't know. I feel like that is going to be a pretty tough plight for Chronic to reverse sweep against that warrior.
Yeah. Definitely. That deck can. I haven't seen it as much this season, but
Yeah,
this looks like a deck from like 4 months ago, basically. Like
pretty
you have
much.
Lord Barov and Shield of Honor are the only 2 new cards.
Yeah, one interesting thing is it is not running
Oh,
the
and
eggs.
Reaper Scythe too is new. Oh, and Cutting Class. Okay, well, there's a little more, but I mean,
Yeah,
the core is the same, right?
right. Yeah. And there's a lot of things that deal with some aggro or kind of smaller boards with the risky skippers and some minions, or yeah, that Reaper's Scythe and something. And like you mentioned, the Barov. So I'd imagine that even if Chronic brings the Mage again or brings Rogue, those boards are probably not going to be sticking around long for Chronic.
Yeah, definitely. It's I feel like everything's kind of stacked up against Chronic.
Yeah.
Do you bring Priest and try to just control the game and get a win, or are you trying to finally get that mage win, or what? What is the
Yeah.
best deck to pick? I'm not even sure.
It's tough. I do not envy Chronic in this spot here at all.
All right, well,
We'll find out what Chronic brings.
yeah, I hope they can get one win at least. I'd hate to see him lose
Yeah.
0-3 here. You hate to see the sweep.
Yeah. This definitely is I mean, we kind of talked about the standings.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say big match, but fairly big match for Fanboy to make sure that he solidifies the win. Before this series ends, he is sitting in 10th place on the standings for wild cards. And in those standings, top 6 get through. So he's kind of trying to work his way through there.
Yeah,
But
Chronic here
did bring
deciding
that
to bring
priest.
Priest.
Yeah.
Start with the Draconic Studies. Probably took the high head. Everything else too expensive there.
Yeah.
Fanboy not even armoring up. Noting the battle rage in hand.
Yep.
Just gonna pass.
That's kind of an underrated play. And
Mhm.
I think a lot of people would just kind of automatically like, oh, I can't play anything, so they would just hero power. But yeah, Fanboy recognizing that he will need to take some damage for that battle rage to be active, and there's not a lot else going on in the hand for him right now. So
Right, and having Ankar means I
yeah.
have to wait for the priest to attack you.
Yeah.
Because, Chronic could be on the same level and just sit there with a 1-1 and be like, well, I'm not going to attack because I know you're playing Battle Rage.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
the weapon sort of forces that. And draws a risky. Is that a risky skipper or
Yep.
Skyraider? All right, geez. It's been a while since I've played Warrior.
Gonna see some more card draw here.
Mm-hmm.
Reaper's Scythe. Okay, the Wormhole Challenger is pretty good. Can't play it this turn, but might be pretty nice in the next few turns here. I don't think Fanboy needs to attack, but
I wonder.
Yeah, there's not much of a benefit.
unless just wanting to set up the Scythe next turn.
Right, Scythe plus Enrage. Or Scythe plus Cutting Class, right? Yeah, that would do
Yeah,
a
would,
1 mana.
would
Cutting
trigger the
Class.
spell burst on the Scythe, though. But there could be, depending on what Chronic plays, a board that it's actually fairly impactful on.
Right. Sky Raider getting a Southsea Cutler. And there's a Twilight Drake. So, I mean, we do get to splash the Drake for 4 damage with that line. If we do go with the Reaper Scythe into Cutting Class here.
I wonder if it is going to be the Cutting Class. I think it's just hold back a spell for now. Yeah. I like this a lot.
You've got me
Yeah,
fired up.
I guess the Cutting Class also would put him at max hand size, actually. So
Yeah.
definitely smart to hold back.
Now we're cooking.
I'm giving this a Reborn.
I mean, you get a chance to trigger spell damage again, I guess, or spell burst.
It's kind of making it a little bit annoying for Fanboy to deal with.
Mhm.
Past the pirate's cove.
Just gonna play this captain.
Yeah,
Get out
just
of the hand.
yeah, clear up space here to play the Cutting Class. And let's see what... Nothing really. Okay.
Right.
Not helpful right now.
Might see that armor up.
Yeah.
What now?
Armor made to fit.
Just trying to build the resources in hand for a big swing turn later.
Yeah, but even like armor up there would still leave Fanboy at 10 cards, so Plays
Yeah.
out the Armor Smith to stay in the hand limit. Chronic with a couple of Acolyte. Get his own Armor Smith. Also, the Shadow Priest there could steal it too.
Good. Hmm.
Decides to kill the Armor Smith. Says, I don't want one.
Yeah.
Just gonna get Thought Steal.
Might just be waiting to take advantage of something else like the Blood Boil Brute. Stealing something like that later.
Comboing with Wave of Apathy.
Right. Heals back to full because priest. Why not?
Because Priest. Alright, so Chronic has a Bloodsworn Mercenary now and a Battle. So
Yeah.
Chronic healing himself despite the Battle Rage in hand.
There's a Gromash.
Yeah.
Right. The board looks very similar to last turn. Fanboy just kind of staying in that same situation here, just waiting, being very patient, waiting for a big swing turn later. But Chronic with a mercenary of zone.
Your mind is not your own.
Just playing out the Acolyte. Not getting any advantage from it, but staying under 10 cards. Gonna heal the hot head. Raise dead.
Now we're cooking.
And then
Dance, puppet, dance.
coin. And just pass, I think.
Yeah, looks like it. Just to make sure there's no overdraw next turn.
Yeah, so these taunts are spaced out in a way. Well, I guess the spell burst is
Yeah.
they are spaced out in a way that would affect Reaper Scythe if it mattered.
Show you who's boss.
Yeah. This does look like a pretty decent board to get some brute value, though.
Yeah, Battle Rage for 3.
Another brute, another mercenary.
Right, I mean, we gotta attack
Okay.
the Acolyte, right?
Yeah. Fanboy. I think Fanboy can afford to take a few damage. Trading in with the weapon. Priest is not really known for dealing burst damage, so.
Yeah, but, you know, opting to take a bigger hit on the minion to preserve some life points.
Yeah.
Being at, you know, now at 5, that is kind of important. And we're missing an Armor Smith, and we are at 10 cards, so there might be some overdraw.
Drink your blood. Eat your flesh. My hand is full.
Chronic with that Murazond. Ugh.
Yeah. Not a whole lot it feels like Fanboy can really do here.
I wonder.
I don't think even playing... I don't even think going for like Romash in a rage Shield of Honor is enough. Probably see this.
So this is going to take out
Yeah, this is good.
Urza, and the mercenary. Yeah, mercenary copies it and takes out the brute. We leave Chronic with a 1/1 skipper.
Used all of his mana last turn too. Fanboy really had to kind of take that turn slightly slower, do a little bit of math there to figure out how to get the brute out and still have the mana to play enough, or leave enough mana to play
Let me
the mercenary
change your
and Shield of
mind.
Honor.
Mm-hmm.
But Chronic has had this stuff waiting to be able to try to steal something here.
Yeah, and
You
that's a
don't
pretty
pick
nice
the
get.
wands.
That
Yeah.
8 power, um, that 8 power brute. Gets another wave of apathy off of that one maker too.
Yeah. That's
And
pretty
there's
good.
Lord Barov.
Barov can help for sure because
What now?
it's not bad to set up the Barov and then play something like the Warmaul Challenger.
Mm-hmm. You also have Inner Rage too that can just clear up something in a pinch.
Yeah, if he really needs to. I do wonder if he's wanting to save the Inner Rage for the Gromosh,
Yeah, that makes
but
sense.
What now?
or pair it with something else that's on board and the second mercenary in hand.
Mm-hmm. Also important to know that 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 Corsair cache is dead. Been
Yeah.
through all of the weapons in Fanboy's deck, so
Do try
it's
to
not gonna
keep
be
yourself
anything
alive.
else. You'll see Barov come down. Challenger. Another challenger. Attack to clear. So
A
Apotheosis.
simple spell should
Play the spell can get a Mind Vision and an Embalming Ritual. And Wild Power Mancer clear this up pretty easily. But instead going with Mind Vision.
Oh,
Getting an Inner Rage.
all
Nice.
right. Well, that helps with the Wild Pyro.
Mm-hmm.
Use another cheap spell if Chronic so chooses. Also, interesting, the Spellkin did not find yet another copy of
Wave of Apathy.
the Wave of Apathy.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Not this time. There's a Bomb Wrangler.
hmm. Could play out the Gromosh. I'm just caught up on this Gromosh. Could play the Gromosh and trigger the Barov, but probably not really going in on that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Really, probably just holding that back at this point until Gromosh can ideally just close out the game.
Right.
But trading in the Barov does deal 1 to everything, so maybe setting up some other type of board that Chronic will have to deal with is ideally going to be enough for the next turn or maybe 2 to kind of help push that damage to set up for the Gromosh.
Mm-hmm. Okay, man, I guess you play Bomb Wrangler here
Yeah.
into the Mercenary. You can armor up, it's not lethal. It's the Spellkin isn't going to be lethal. Alright,
Yeah,
just
but-
deciding not to play the Mercenary. But
Yeah.
Apotheosis on the Spellkin is going to close this.
It does. So Chronic's on the board.
Alright, well. Yeah, well, we didn't get swept.
Yeah.
Priest.
No
Pick
sweeps.
Priest, beat up the Warrior, and now we have to bring our Rogue, which, you know, might not line up very well against all of the wide sweepers of Warrior.
Yeah.
And we also have that Tempo Mage that we saw the first 2 games that didn't quite go to plan for Chronic.
Yeah, I do almost wonder if Chronic just brings the mage again next. Maybe something like finding, more mirror images to put out some taunts and the Ray of Frosts. Things
Hmm.
like that can hopefully be enough to kind of slow down what that warrior wants to be doing. But there's not really a lot of great tools in Rogue, it feels like. I'm not really
Yeah,
sure what the Rogue is going to look for into that warrior there.
yeah. I mean, maybe like just the big Edwin.
Yeah. Just a big minion and hope it's enough. Hope Fanboy
Yeah,
doesn't end up getting bear of.
right. Yeah, yeah. We'll see. What Chronic decides to bring here. What do you think's gonna get nerfed from Mage?
Well, we already know what's getting nerfed.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
so
shows how much I've been paying attention.
that's all right. Um, yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see though. I am curious to see when we'll be getting the nerfs next week.
Hmm.
But
Victory or
we do
death!
have after this week, we have one more week of the Aspirant Series regular season before we go into playoffs. But here it is, Chronic taking the mage now into the warrior. Fanboy keeping nothing. Seems like good tools for Chronic so
It
far.
says explode.
The Ray of Frost definitely something that I mentioned that Chronic is going to
Someone
want
gotta
in
lead
this
the
matchup.
charge.
Yeah, we have
I
that
will
turn
crush
one
your
lab partner
delusional
change
grandeur.
draw again for Chronic. Fanboy. Not really any strong play here on turn two.
Yeah.
Might see the armor up here though, considering there's no battle reach in hand, and it's definitely not as it's a more potent deck than Priest can be.
Yeah, definitely. I think if anything, maybe it's a trade and coin a. Nope, just going for the
Nope.
hero power. I was gonna say like you could coin one of the mercenaries, but it doesn't feel very great. Like it's not the best board to do that, but if you really
Let's make
want
a
to try to get on
1/1.
board, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it does put out the body from the mercenary, but yeah, probably not the best option.
Alright, so Violet Spellwing to play for Chronic here.
Again, though, look at that hand for Chronic. It is just that is a good looking mage hand.
Mm-hmm.
And this hand for Fanboy, not very good. Not really what he's looking for.
Not a great looking warrior hand.
No.
I wonder.
Ha. No weapons, no Corsair cash, no really cheap minions. I mean, even what
Try to keep yourselves alive.
You just tempo Barov here, like you get to shrink
yeah.
the Solarian to a 3.
I guess so. I mean, even like Wormhole Challenger would be great, but
Mm-hmm. But no, that's
this is
it.
just bleh.
So kind of getting a couple face damage, trading into Barov. Probably just gonna draw 2 here, right? Or no?
Yeah,
But we'll
I
start
would
with the
think maybe just
studies.
the studies and maybe some draw, unless there's really something great off of the studies.
Mm-hmm.
Could play this out as a 4/4, I guess. Sure. Might go off with the draw after playing the
After
Sorcerer's
playing, yeah.
Apprentice, or maybe waiting for Cyclone to come into hand.
Just coin cutting class here.
Might be, yeah, because
Yeah, feels
Fanboy
bad.
needs something else.
Yeah. We're looking at 2 Arcane Intellects and Chronic's hand for
Yeah.
2. Feels bad.
Does find the Corsair cache though,
Mm-hmm.
so Fanboy can start to do something next turn.
Yeah.
Maybe, ooh, the devolving missiles or power creation, both pretty good.
Yeah, power of creation definitely giving Chronic something a little more pressure for later.
Magic trick.
Into a flame ward.
There's a battle rage. I wonder if Fanboy goes for the cash here, though. Yeah. It
Well, we
is.
got the
Oh,
Ankar.
the
We got the one
Ankar!
we can play.
That is exactly what Fanboy wanted there.
Right. And draws us a skipper. Chronic draws a cram session.
Yeah. There's so much card draw in Chronic's hand.
I know.
So much card draw. Oh.
3/3, and what's the 3/5?
The
Oh, okay.
Crowlusk. Bark Stripper. So that spell burst is going to destroy a random enemy minion. No
That's
minions on the
nasty.
board for Fanboy right now, but
The Chronic not playing any more spells, preserving that,
yeah,
which is pretty nice.
Chronic is just feels so far ahead right now.
Yeah, it's
Okay, though, a skipper armor smith turn starts to put some stuff on the board that gets damaged and makes that blood broil. But why is that so difficult to say? The
Blood Broil
brute. That brute will be discounted.
Someone's gotta lead the charge.
We can make a pretty big battle rage too.
Yeah, trying to capitalize and getting as much armor as possible too.
We got a horde pillager off of the thing, so we can rebuy a weapon later.
Not bad. Ooh, the Raz Frost Whisper picked up for Chronic. Does that come down here? I don't mind it.
Mastery takes dedication.
Maybe just freeze that brute too. Don't want Fanboy to be able to do some buffing and copying and attack with that right now.
Yeah, the lab partner. Able to do Ras for 2. Fanboy draws a bomb wrangler.
Yeah, the
There you go,
skipper.
Skipper bomb wrangler.
I'll show you who's boss.
Yeah,
Floaty, go get him.
not bad at all. Get a lot of draw here. It's kind of funny. We were talking about how much draw Chronic has in hand, but Fanboy is the one that's been drawing all the cards this game.
Yeah, Chronic. Well, Chronic's had other things to do.
Yes, that's a very fair point.
Fanboy's just trying to
Fanboy
find
has
something.
had to draw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does not really find a way to answer the Frost Whisper, though. Not great.
I must choose.
Shield armor on Brute.
Opens up a spot in the hand for another Pirates, which there are none. So works out well for Fanboy, though, because he doesn't have to expend one of the inner rages to clear out a spot in hand. But here we go. Chronic, this might be a really big swing turn here. I'm going to see a lot of
Drew's
spells.
second apprentice, too.
Yeah.
Let's start by pinging that Divine Shield off. Found a Cyclone.
Shinvala this turn. I don't like this playing a couple freezes here.
Mhm.
Or I guess a freeze. I'd imagine we see the Cyclone. Or just Cramp Session. Draw a card.
There's a mana time.
That bomb hitting face, not clearing one of those minions, has gotta
That's
feel pretty
rude.
good for Chronic.
Mhm.
All right. Fanboy finally has some things to work with in hand and enough mana to do it.
What now?
I challenge you to mock battle!
Alright, so we're gonna play the Challenger, clear out this Resurrect.
Eat your flesh!
Play the Brew, which takes out Grass. And that's gonna be it for Fanboy's turn. Chronic, the Primordial Studies. Oh, we still have that Power of Creation in there.
I was
Totally
just about
forgot
to
about
say
that.
that. Yeah, it's kind of just been sitting there.
Go with those studies instead. Get another Ogre Magi. Yeah.
Cool. Argent Commanders look really good here. At least can take out the Brute.
Mm-hmm. Probably just go face with the other one, right? Nothing else like.
What's the health on the
What
Brute?
to do? What to do?
Hard to see.
Oh, it's 5. I think it's 5.
Yeah,
Time runs out on me.
I think it is. So 5. Chronic would have to double trade.
Mm-hmm.
I think he still just go for it though.
Yep, looks like it. It's a core crown elite.
How much damage is
Treasure?
Corcron in a
What
rage?
more can I ask for?
Copy.
12.
Right. So still not enough damage to clear here, or to set up lethal.
So to kill the kill the minions. We have 2 bombs. Okay, Chronic down to 24. There's another Cyclone. Do Chinvaya? Yep. Mana
Whoa,
Giant. Hunter's calling here. And we got a 3/6 font.
not the most ideal there.
No.
Looking for some bigger things than that, I feel.
Pretty bad arcane missiles too. I think you kind of wanted to hit one of the bombs.
Yeah.
Or to double up on the Horde Poacher would have been great.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah,
so
we're gonna see that in a rage.
double mercenary.
Double inner rage, double mercenary. That's lethal.
Right. Yeah, that
Your
is.
flaws are your
Whew.
strength.
Holy crap!
Your flaws
That's a
are
lot of
your
damage
strength.
there. That's what Fanboy was waiting for. Finally drew enough through the deck to find it all.
Yeah, and finally got to 10 mana too.
Yeah. Yeah, finally got there.
All right. Well, that's gonna do it, right?
That is,
Fanboy
yeah.
with the third win.
That is. So yeah, Fanboy takes it 3-1 over Chronic, putting him up to a 4-3 record. And they both still have a match next week, which is the last week of the regular season. So
Mm-hmm.
looking good for Fanboy in terms of trying to work towards getting into those playoffs.
Chronic played Hearthstone.
Yeah. Chronic tried, that's for
Yeah.
sure, though. Chronic definitely tried and, managed to get the 1 win with that priest. And I feel like got fairly close there in that mage, but then
Yeah,
Chronic
I
finally
don't
found
think
all of the draw. So
I don't think that I don't think Chronic did anything badly. It just didn't
no.
really pan out. That weapon rogue deck just kind of coming out blazing in the first game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of tough when you're already down, 0-2,
Hmm.
to have to reverse sweep. It does happen, but it doesn't feel like it happens as often. So yeah,
Right.
don't blame Chronic one bit, but I do still think both players played really well. Just I think the way the decks kind of panned out that time. So
All right. So, unfortunately, this week we only have one match for you. Weren't able to get any others. So, I think that's going to be it for this week.
so
Um, yeah, they can find you on Twitter, right? Dragon Rider?
yeah, you can find me
Yeah.
on Twitter at DonnieDK.
And on Twitch, right? You've been streaming a lot lately.
Yes. Yep. And that's twitch.tv/DragonRiderDK, just like it is on screen there.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at AnagenMTG. I haven't streamed in a while. I don't know when I'm going to stream again, but I definitely will at some point. But you can follow me on Twitch too. And I think that's it for us. I want to shout out to Major, our producer. I think you can follow her at Major HS on Twitter. I think it is. And yeah,
And
hope you all
then
have a great night and stay safe.